Let's do it. ESPN, of all people, owned by Disney, located Disney is in the great state of Florida, is actually helping promote the NAACP, which is funny in itself, in reconsidering. Black athletes should reconsider going to the great state of Florida because Florida schools, the University of Florida and others, got rid of DEI. Really? Oh, man. And ESPN is helping in this fight. Like, I understand ESPN is part of Disney, and I understand that Disney's located in Florida. I understand that DeSantis, the mayor or the governor of Florida, is in a lockstep battle, horns drawn, guns out, whatever you want to say, with ESPN and their sovereign state down there in the world's happiest place. But anyway, well, Florida, the university, said, yeah, you know what, this DEI crap, how about we just make sports and other things a meritocracy? And, of course, that doesn't go well because we all know what actually is wanted here. What is wanted here is, well, you know what's wanted here, equal but special. I want equal treatment, but don't fire me. I want equal treatment, but treat me better. I want equal treatment, but don't look at me. Well, and NAACP CEO, he's president also, Derek Johnson, supported DEI's position in Florida College. He sent a letter to Charlie Baker, the president from Massachusetts, he's a Libby, basically asking Baker and the NCAA to back DEI against Ron DeSantis' initiative to diminish the influence of DEI on Florida college athletes. Good. The NAACP and its president called for black athletes to, quote, rethink their offers from Florida institution to send a message to DeSantis proving merit doesn't matter to DEI. It's not about politics, Johnson argued. It's about the protection of our community, the progression of our culture, and most of all, it's about your education and your future. Really? You know, Florida's a pretty good school. There's a lot of pretty good schools in Florida, but you're telling athletes maybe to rethink, which means don't go to a Florida school? All right. I mean, you know, the thing that amazes me, though, is how comfortable we are now about our community, our culture. Like, all right, your community, your culture. What if a white dude said that? You know what? I go to this school to protect our community, our culture. Well, it's not the same thing, they cry. Really? Why not? Because you have everything. You're probably right about that, but it's still the same thing. No, you're probably right. White folks have had advantages for years, but it's still the same thing. I mean, if I start talking about our community, our culture, and that goes directly against, of course, what Dr. Martin Luther King said, that the hope is, the dream, if you will, is someday we will be judged by the content of our character, not the color of our skin. And presidents and CEOs like Derek Johnson of the NAACP doesn't care about Dr. Martin Luther King's words, even years, decades and decades after Dr. King spoke those words. I take those words to heart. I do. And that's where I get in trouble because white folk, particularly white folk in the media, are supposed to tap dance. I'm supposed to do a little soft shoe around my African-American brothers, both in public and private, in writing, in speech, and everywhere else. We're all supposed to tap dance. That's the way people want it. That's the way the NAACP president wants it. Don't judge me by the content of my character or by my work. Judge me by the color of my skin, is what he is saying. Well, hey, you got to do you, Mr. Johnson, and I don't blame you. Look, if you're the NAACP president and you are the CEO, which means you're making a ton of money from people to pay you to do something, even if you don't believe it, do something, because the masses, white or black, can both be fooled by rhetoric and noise. Remember, in the modern society, it's not do what I do. It's do what I say. So many people just talk. I could literally walk around and say, I'm a woman, and somehow, some way, I would be allowed in women's restrooms. I may, if I go to prison, may even be allowed in women's prison. It's do as I say time. in the world. It's not do as I do, regardless of what Dr. Martin Luther King said, regardless of whatever you call your progress or your change. You know, when somebody just stands up for common sense, which is what I have seen DeSantis do over the years, when somebody says, look, I respect African Americans enough to make DEI a thing of the past, I think we've made progress to where now companies, universities understand just hire the best person. And many times, probably most times, that person is African American or a woman or both. And I don't think people have a problem, even a little bit of a problem. But guys like Johnson, they're scared to death. See, if something like that actually happens, if people actually started judging people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin, guys like Derek Johnson go away. There's no need for an NAACP. There's no need for a CEO making millions of dollars running the NAACP. There's no need. I mean, if people actually got to change, which I see coming, which I actually see happening, then there's no need for the race grifters. There's no need for the Mike Freemans of USA Today or the little girl that decided to write that the wrong about college women and professional women is white girls stay away. You know what I'm saying? If that all went away, then the race baiters would have nowhere to go. Serious business. Where would guys like Stephen A. Smith go? Now, Stephen A. Smith is seeing. He's ahead. He's seeing what's happening, so he's starting to get out in front of it. But the other morons on your television aren't. And basically, I looked at this, and the first three stories are all about race. And it's kind of funny to me. Hope and change, baby. We had an 8-year do-nothing president. United States sucks. They don't love me. You're going to read, or I'm going to read in this next story. Okay. Well, we loved you enough to hire a president that hadn't done nothing ever in his life after make one speech at one convention. We literally hired a guy whose middle name was Hussein after what happened in 9/11, shortly after what happened at 9/11. We literally hired a guy named Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. But hey, the country doesn't love you because you're not given everything that you want. You got to work for it sometimes. Look, that's what my father, my grandfather, my mom, I was lucky to have them. I tell you this, I wish the African-American community would wake up and start attacking the problem of hiring Democrats to run your city of fatherless homes. Now we can get down with some serious business if you start doing that. Maybe there will be some hope. Maybe there will be some change. And not just because you elected a city planner and let him in office for 8 years. Stop it. Speaking of the next one, as he gears up for the 2024 Olympics in Paris, Noah Lyles says it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet to be a black man representing the United States. Now, you got to understand history here. You know, back in 1968, man, I got to tell you, a couple guys raised their fists, rightfully so. You know what happened then? What happened then was they became icons, and everybody's looking for it. Everybody's looking for that cap money. Yo, everybody is going, hey, hold on here a second. How can I get involved? Well, the country doesn't love me back. Really? Why not? Now, you tell me. Tommy Smith and John Carlos raised a black fist to show the oppression in the United States. And if you think it's still there, then good for you. And maybe it is. I mean, who am I to say? I'm just a white guy. And we ain't listening to Whitey. But I would say this guy then has, well, let's talk about Noah for just a second. Noah says, listen, it's bittersweet to be a black man representing the United States. But he makes a backhanded comment. It's hard to love your country when your country doesn't love you. Really? It's a bittersweet moment. I'm American. I truly believe that we are the best in the world, especially when it comes to sports. We've definitely been proving that dominance. It feels good to add on to that collection. That is, the United States is the best. But at the same time, it's with a heavy heart, really. What the hell is a heavy heart? I mean, I'm a literal person. A little piece of my heart is with you. What does that mean? What does a heavy heart mean? Because being black in America, there's a lot to deal with. There's a lot for everybody to deal with. Everybody's got stuff to deal with. Everybody. I'm not going to go into everything. Of course you're not, because you can't. I mean, you're an entitled athlete getting paid a ton of money to run fast. That's it. That's it. That's what you're getting paid to. You're getting paid to not work, run fast. But America's a bad place because something happened. I don't think America's a bad place to white people because I watched two big old guys, black dudes, steal my bike or rob my house. I don't say, well, there's a lot to deal with as a white guy because black people. Shut up with all this. Seriously, I'm not going to go into it. Of course you're not. You're not going into it because you're full of shit. But it's not easy. It's hard to love this country that sometimes doesn't love you back. What does that mean? Somebody explain this to me. It doesn't love me back. Then quit voting for frickin' Democrats year after year after year in your cities. What do you mean doesn't love you back? The hell's supposed to happen? I couldn't tell you one example of my country loving me or not loving me back. It doesn't love me back. I'll tell you this. It don't love me back either. Because every time I do something, I get taxed. And those tax dollars go where? To people that don't work. Those tax dollars go to the Ukraine. Those tax dollars continue to go to the Ukraine. Those tax dollars go to places I don't give to. Well, I just strikes me nuts. I don't give two shits about the Ukraine. I'm sorry. I know I'm stupid. I know some purple-haired crazy person is going to tell me what an idiot I am. I get it, but I don't give two shits. I hesitated to say that earlier, but I don't give two shits. I mean, all our tax dollars are going to missiles, but they're going to missiles in the United States that we're going to set. Oh, shut up. How about we close our border? How about we feed our homeless? How about we help our veterans? I don't give a damn if you're white or black. How about we do that? The country doesn't love me back. When the doctor, I do this all the time, smacks you right on the ass. You know what the doctor didn't say? Life's easy, son. Life's easy. You're going to have no hardship. Hell, I read the Bible, and it's all in there. You know what? Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Let God handle it. And this guy's a good-looking dude. This guy's a great runner. This guy's going to compete for a gold medal, but it doesn't love me back. What the hell does that mean? I'm not going into it. Of course you're not going into it. Of course. I mean, look, nobody goes into it. I never hear anybody going into it. Well, if I go into it, sponsors are going to leave. Really? I mean, I don't know, but you tell me a sponsor that's going to take a good-looking Olympian, has a chance for a gold medal, African-American, and because he talks about his life, his plight, a sponsor's going to leave. Shut up with that. That's always the excuse. Well, I got too much to lose. Really? I mean, Muhammad Ali had too much to lose. He was the number one ranked and world champion, didn't go to war, threw his gold medal into the Ohio River on the bridge between Indiana, I believe it was there, between Indiana and Kentucky. You just get tired of this crap. It's like this guy is trying to, well, maybe Nike will come around. That's what it seems like to me. Then go into it. I would like to hear, I would not be doing this if you went into it. It's a heavy heart. Really? What does that mean? Like, what does a heavy heart mean? I say this all the time because I'm just that crazy. It's with a heavy heart. You have a little piece of my heart. You will always have a place in our hearts when you leave. What does that mean? Huh? I don't know. I never know. Words are very important to me. My parents were teachers in Gary, Indiana. They went and made me go to the Gary Public Library oft. I loved hanging out at the Maryville Public Library when that one opened on US 30, and they made me read 30 Days to a More Powerful Vocabulary. So words matter to me. So I have a tendency to look at words and go, what does that mean? I wish that Mr. Lyles would explain. because I'm an empathetic person. But just to throw out crap like this is so disingenuous. We're all trying to get that cat money, yo. And a lot of people are. I mean, why do you think Shannon Sharp has a job? You think it's because of the great insights from that guy? No. Man, that itched. Anyway, no, hell no. Please. I mean, why do you think Skip Bayless has a job? You want me to tell you? Because Skip Bayless started the genre. And when he hired Stephen A. Smith, it saved his life. Now, Stephen A. Smith has enhanced it. But don't be giving me this crap. Don't be giving me this crap about it's hard to run when a country doesn't love you. What the hell does that mean? We all got hardships, man. I got a call last night around midnight. Not going to tell you from who. I had to talk a friend of mine through something. Midnight. I go to bed at 9:30. Phone rang. It was up till about 1:30. Talking to a friend. Nobody said this stuff was easy. Jeez, it doesn't love me. I'm going to go out and try to feel the love today from my country. What does that mean? Hey, I'll tell you how I feel the love from my country. Quit taxing me. I should do this one day. Maybe you should. Every day, just count how much you spend in taxes. You know, you go to the store taxed. You do that taxed. Look at the bill you pay taxed. That ain't loving me. But you know what? Life's a bitch. Speaking of race baiters, the despicable, awful, God, terrible race baiters at Gannett, which of course includes the USA Today and my friends at the Indy Star. There's a lady named Lindsay Schnell. Now, Lindsay Schnell is an indescribable, kind of a nobody knows nothing woman. You know, that nobody really pays attention to. So again, how do you get paid attention to? You go after that cat money, yo. You do. So Lindsay Schnell decides that white women should not be involved in basketball. White women, and she's a white woman. Women's basketball needs faces of the future to be black. Enter Juju Watkins and Hannah Hidalgo. Lindsay Schnell is among the worst people in the world. The middle-aged white woman. The middle-aged white woman has become the biggest fraud in America. They stand for nothing, although they try. They're just horrible people. They're the worst among us. Lindsay Schnell is an enterprise. Oh, look at how cute she is. Aw, hi. I'm standing for black people. She's a proud Oregon. Okay. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Mackenzie Forbes is on your Twitter. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, my God. 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 I mean, what a jackass. So this racist, women's basketball needs faces of the future to be black. For what? What for? They can't be white? Let me explain something to you. Women's basketball has never been more popular. They got a white face and only a white face. Juju Watkins is really good. And Juju Watkins is not, I don't know if she'll break the records of what Caitlin Clark sent, but she's going to be better. But there's something about Caitlin Clark, and it's not white. There's something about Caitlin Clark and her swag and all that she does and the way she shoots and how she's kind of the first that makes it special. But little white girls can't handle it. Oh, my daddy says that I'm going to be the change that everybody wants. Shut up. Honest to God. No, you don't. Hey, how about having some respect for Michelle? No, I don't. I just don't. Because she has absolutely nothing going. Except she's a little white girl who is trying so hard. Juju crossed over her defender. See, people just can't be happy. People just can't be excited for somebody. We got to make it about race. Not lost on any of the power brokers in the game. Let me show you Lindsay Schnell. Lindsay Schnell is, listen to this. This is her Enterprise reporter. So this is Lindsay Schnell. A little girl just away from her daddy, or maybe has daddy issues, I don't know. But if you think the power brokers of any sport know or give a shit about Lindsay Schnell, you're out of your mind. So she's lying right here in typical Dan Wolken USA Today fashion. Not lost on any of the power brokers. Both of these players are black in a game built by black women. Really? I mean, she obviously doesn't know who Ann Donovan is. She doesn't know who Diana Taurasi is, Rebecca Lobo. She doesn't know even who Gino Auriemma is. I mean, Megan Muff. I mean, if you really want to know the truth, black women, white men, white women have built the game. It's how games get built. I mean, honest to God, it matters that the faces of the future look like the faces of the past. So they should look like Rebecca Lobo, Diana Taurasi, arguably the best women's basketball player ever. They should look like, I don't know, you tell me. You know, it's really interesting. It's really interesting that that's not interesting, it's stupid. And she focuses on, well, you know, the world is focusing on Paige Beckers and Sabrina Ionescu. Really? Oh, okay. Lynette Woodard scored a bunch of points, but nobody cared. Not even a little bit. I mean, so she didn't build it. Denise Jackson was a Big Ten's MVP in 1983. She was pregnant at the time with Johnny Salters, the running back's baby at Indiana. Nobody cared. They didn't build nothing. In fact, I would argue that back in the day, women that, I don't know, had no appeal to anybody hurt women's basketball. Now, all of a sudden, you've got women that appeal. And I'm not just talking looks. I'm not even talking looks. I'm talking how they play. Caitlin Clark, Sabrina, Paige Beckers. I mean, black and white. Juju Watkins is going to be great. But it just is unbelievable. With the light I have now as a white woman who leads a black-led sport, I want to shed a light on black women, says Paige Becker. Yeah, okay. I mean, everything has to be divisive. You, as a writer, as a white woman writer, you have to be divisive because nobody takes you seriously. I mean, if you think anybody's taking Nancy Amore seriously with her criticisms of Sage Steele, you're out of your mind. You are. Name me a white woman that anybody takes seriously in the world of sports. Don't tell me Christine Brennan. That woman's been a joke for a long time. So you have to come up with something. You got to come up with a hook. You do. And frankly, by coming up with a hook, you get talked about. So good, really good for this little girl. Great for her. Great for little Lindsay. She got people to talk about it. She showed herself to be a flaming racist. Good for her. No, really, good for her. See, the biggest race baiters we have are white women, middle-aged white women. They're horrible. Not all. I mean, of course not all. But if you were going to line them up and say, all right, who's the most down for the cause that's full of shit and has no experience? White women. Middle-aged white women. They're all about it. National correspondent. I'm shocked she lives in Portland. That stuns me. That absolutely stuns me. But anyway, good for her. She got us to talk about her. But she, you know what? All you got to do, honey, is, I don't know, put purple in your hair, and away you go. And you hear me say words like honey. You hear me say white women. You hear me say little girl, because I have no respect for this woman. And when I have no respect for somebody, I hurl insults. I just do. And I don't give a damn if Julie DiCarlo and all the women around get mad at me. I have no respect for this particular woman. Instead of celebrating, she's bringing up crap. Everybody knows in basketball that's involved in basketball that black women, white women, black men, white men, man, we all contribute to the game. We all have enhanced the game. We don't need some little girl that's never played nothing in her life other than maybe with herself. We don't need some little girl telling us in the middle of the biggest boom in college basketball that, well, we need faces to be black. We don't need anything. We need the best. That's sports. That's always sports. So take your ass on back to wherever the hell you came from, Lindsay, and I say congratulations. You got the most powerful man in sports, me, to talk about your sorry ass. That was good. No, that was really good. Oh, look at her. She's so cute. Oh. Jesus. Talking about basketball. Okay. Yeah, all right. All right. Yeah, you're right. What could I possibly be thinking? I mean, we should get an education from little Lindsay Schnell. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous that the first four stories that I've had to talk about are race. That's absurd. It's just absurd. I'm sorry. And particularly in sports. Because, look, I don't know whether the country loves you back. I don't know that we need white women, black women. You know what we need? Continued excellence. And Juju Watkins is excellent. No, really. No, really, really, really good. I saw her one play, and I'm like, whoops. Ooh. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. She plays like a guy. She does. She plays like a guy. That's the best compliment you can give a woman basketball player. Man, is this a sexist rant, huh? Woo! I'm in trouble. Oh, my God. Just disgusting. Sports, we're supposed to be better than that. Sports, we're not. We're just supposed to say who's great, black, white, Latino. I don't care what you are. But we always got to make it something. We do. And it's always the white women that are trying so damn hard. So damn hard. All right. According to the New York Times, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is floating the idea of Aaron Rodgers as his vice president. Aaron Rodgers as his vice president. Huh. When I saw that, I initially thought to myself, well, that's a joke. I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers, I guess he's trying, I don't know, to spread his wings into the political arena because make no mistake, make absolutely no mistake, Aaron Rodgers approved this getting out. There is zero chance that this gets out with Eric Rodgers saying, yeah. Now, why would Aaron Rodgers want this out? Well, I'll tell you why. It's the same reason you see Stephen A. Smith going over and doing things with Clay or doing things on Fox News or talking politics on his podcast because people understand sports is changing. The political world and sports are coming together. And there's a bigger audience. I understood it a couple years ago when Clay approached me and we came to OutKick. I understood it. Of course I understood it. I'm smart that way. But anyway, here is the New York Times article. Mr. Kennedy confirmed on Tuesday that the two men that were at the top of his list, it is not clear either has been formally offered the post, however, and Mr. Kennedy is still considering a short list of potential candidates, those familiar with the discussion. Jesse Ventura, I thought he was dead. I did. I thought he was dead. And Aaron Rodgers. Now, Ventura, as you see right there, has been in the political arena. I mean, a pretty high level. I mean, he's a governor of Minnesota. Rodgers is a smart guy. He confirmed the two men were at the top of his list. It's not clear if any have been formally offered, and Mr. Kennedy is still considering a short list of candidates. Mr. Kennedy said that he had been speaking with Mr. Rodgers, that's what I told you, pretty continuously for the past month, and that he had been in touch with Ventura since the former governor introduced him at a campaign event last month in Arizona. I thought this was the onion. I did. I thought this was the onion. I thought this was the Babylon Bee. I'm like, what? Huh? What? What are we talking about here? What? Huh? And what? Yeah, that Aaron Rodgers, I thought maybe there was an Aaron Rodgers. What this tells me is, man, how few great candidates do we have, and how many of our great candidates don't want to be involved in politics? Or don't want to be involved in a presidential campaign. Like, we have, unfortunately, two 80-year-olds going at it. And one of the things that I see between Biden and Trump is, don't we have anybody better? Like, Trump was a great president, but I get it, but don't we have anybody better? Don't we have an up-and-comer that just wows you? Don't we have a JFK, even a Bill Clinton who wowed you, as scumbaggy as he was? I mean, that dude went through women and everything else, and nobody could ever catch him because everybody was smitten by him. Don't we have anybody other than a football player and a guy? I'm not lying. I thought Jesse Ventura was dead. I remember him as a wrestler and then as the governor, and good for him. And the other thing is, I don't think it makes Robert F. Kennedy look like a serious guy. I don't. I mean, even the fact that he's considering Rodgers doesn't make him to be, to me, a serious guy. Now, he may be to you because Rodgers maybe speaks your language, the whole anti-vax thing, sitting there very smug. He's a quarterback. He's with the Jets, so he's in New York. Maybe he fits you. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, it makes Robert F. Kennedy not seem like a serious person. And frankly, when you hear him talk, he seems like a serious person. Like he seems like somebody that you're like, huh. He's matter of fact. He is common sense. Interesting. But all of a sudden you do this and you're like, what? But I will tell you, I'll guarantee you both of these guys are smarter than heels up. I guarantee you both of these guys are like, yo, I may not have any political background, but I'm smarter than that daffy, goofy, giggly vice president heels up we got right now. I promise you that. But it's interesting. It really is. The political world is so shallow. The political world colliding with the real world is illustrated by that guy right there, Rodgers. Now, it's really fascinating. I'm anxious to see more. I really am. I'm anxious to see if this is real or if this is Rodgers and Kennedy making a splash, Rodgers expanding his brand like we're going to hear from next, out of Stephen A. Smith, who's trying to expand his brand. What are we doing here? But I will tell you, I think in politics, we need serious people. I think in politics, we need smart people. I think in politics, we need charismatic people. I don't see any of it. I honestly don't. Kennedy Jr., I suppose. He's got a great name. Biden, are you crazy? Trump seems to fit the bill, but I mean, damn. Dude's 80. I don't know. Maybe Rodgers is the answer. Speaking of politics and athletes or people involved in athletics, Stephen A. Smith was never an athlete. But Stephen A. Smith had this to say about lefties voting for for Joe Biden. Let's hear from Stephen A. Smith.
What the hell does that mean that Joe Biden looked like he had energy last night? The question is, can you rely on him to do that for 4 years, starting next year? That's the question. He gives a speech for an hour and 10 minutes or so on a weeknight in March of 2024, and suddenly that warrants 4 more years for a dude that's going to turn 82 years of age in November and is expected to give 4 more years after that. I said before and I'll say it again. It is an utter disgrace that in the year 2024, the Democratic Party, who calls itself progressives, is begging and relying upon an 82-year-old to come save the day for 2025, 2026, 2027, into 2028. And if you think that an hour speech offsets all of that, you smoking crack.
We're smoking crack. He ain't wrong. This is what I've been saying for years. Like, how do you possibly vote for that guy? Yeah, he got all Adderalled up. Yeah, I guess it was a good speech. He looked demented to me. He looked out of his body to me. He looked insane to me. But I guess the bar is so low with Joe Biden that if he can put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs together that aren't absolute gibberish, we go, see, he's okay. Really? What about the other 100 times when he's falling down, he can't speak, he can't remember? And as Smith said, you're relying on that for 4 more years? You're telling me that can handle 4 more years? You are smoking crack. See, but here's the deal. You're not really smoking crack. What you're doing is you're cheating. You are. You're gaming the system. I don't understand, I honestly don't, the whole how illegal immigrants, and apparently not one Democrat voted for the only people that can vote are American citizens. Now, not one Democrat voted for that the other day. I don't understand how you can come in here illegally, be a criminal in someone else's country, and just go vote. I don't know. I don't understand how you can't just go to a voting place, show an ID, pull the lever, and vote. I don't understand how you can't do that. I don't. I got to go get smoked. You know the story. I got to get a license. I got to, whatever. To do whatever, I need an ID. Hell, I need an ID to go pick up tickets to a basketball game that my son leaves me. But somehow, some way to go vote? And by the way, people, voting matters. Have you been to the grocery store? Have you been there? The lovely Lyles Dakich came home, and she's like, why does Biden gaslight us? This is terrible. The grocery store doesn't have anything, number one. Number two, every price is through the roof. But yet we get told, prices are down. They just lie to us. And Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You actually want that? You want that? You think that 4 more years of this is the answer? All right. Okay. I guess. Stephen A. Smith ain't wrong, man. And I don't know whether there's a Democrat or Republican. I'm neither. I'm just kind of common sense. And I know this. There's got to be somewhere, somehow, some way, somebody that is smart enough, experienced enough, charismatic enough, other than these two guys,